Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danilo from the King Realty Group. Hope you guys are having a great day today, and welcome to this month's stats. So we're in July, guys, and we're looking at June 2018 stats for the Toronto Real Estate Board. Here we go. Hey guys, so we're back at it again. We're reviewing the Toronto Real Estate Board stats of the previous month, which is June 2018. We want to make sure we have a good comparison to last year. We want to check out the trends in the first half of the year because we are halfway through now, guys, in 2018, and we want to have a little bit of predictions for what's going on next. So what we do is review the average price points, the average GTA price in the whole entire GTA, but we also look at different housing types as well. So that's detached homes, semis, townhomes, and condos as well. And we take a look at different micro markets within our regions. So we're talking about York region, Durham, Peel, and the city of Toronto. And we're taking a look at our months of inventory, which gives us an indication if we're in a buyer or a seller market. So if you guys have been following and looking at these videos over the last few months, you see that there's a trend happening as well. And if you connect them all together, you connect all the dots here, you see how things have been going over the last year. So obviously you can get that information if you subscribe to YouTube or if you follow us guys on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. We do have a Facebook group out there, Facebook.com/King Realty TO. And if you do follow us in those channels, guys, then you're going to get this information all the time anyways, all right? I do have this email to our clients in their database as well because we know that our guys like to be informed, and we like to inform them what's going on in the GTA market. Whether you're in the market to be selling or buying, it doesn't really matter. It really is good to know if you have this largest asset you probably own. You want to know what's going on with it, what's going on with the market value, what's going on in our city. And this video and these videos that I make definitely give you insights in those things. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the average GTA price point. So let's get going with that, guys. We see here, I'm going to bring it up on the screen, that we have 807,871. And this is actually now up 2% from June 2018. This is unique and this is good because we mentioned that last month we looked at May numbers. It was more so of a fair comparison because we already had last year our housing policies were already implemented, and we saw that obviously after that implementation, there's a bit of drops in price points and sales across the board last year. And so now that we're comparing, obviously this year we're already impacted by those changes, and so we're comparing a little bit more a fair comparison. And so in June, you're seeing now that we're getting positive numbers. It was last year in June we had a lower price point than June 2018. So it's +2 at this point in time, where if you remember the last few months, it was like -20 like every time. Okay, so that's a good news. Let's take a look at detached homes, guys. We see here we're at 1,033,574. So that's still one housing type that is actually still in a deficit, but it's not -20 anymore. It's not -30 or 40. It's -1.9%. That's a lot more acceptable, I think, of the buyer pool out there. And I know that if the media is taking these numbers and giving reports out, they're going to now start showing that we're balancing out. We're equaling out here because June of last year compared to this year, we're not so far apart anymore. Okay, semi-detaches, guys, are at 787,227, and that's up 1.7%. Townhomes, 638,566, up 3.2%. And condo apartments have been going up regardless over the last year and even into last year. So we have those at 561,097, and that's up 7.9%, guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about rents and condo a little bit later on because we got some interesting numbers from our Urbanation report, which they really just focus on rentals in the city. And hey, if you're an investor and you have a condo downtown, smiles across the board, I think. All right, so let's keep on going, guys. Let's take a look here. There's another detail I wanted to show you. It's our year to date because that's also a nice detail to know how have we been doing since January 2018 until now. So we'll see that January we had a average price point of 736,000. That's a rounded number there. And in this year, June, we have 808. Rounded up a little bit. Okay, so that's actually up 9.8% from beginning of the beginning of the year, and that's great news. It just shows that over those last few months, guys, in the year of 2018, we have been going up month over month. Okay, have those increases been huge and significant? Maybe not so much, especially over the last few months. It's been pretty flat, even though spring market is normally a lot more activity. Normally an increase in price, the biggest increase in price normally we have a lot across the whole entire year, but it wasn't so this year, right? So it was pretty flat. However, the predictions are that in the second half of the year, now that we're starting to see these numbers that are a lot more positive, that the consumer behavior is going to be that they're going to start seeing, hey, it looks like properties are rebounding, they're not dropping anymore, maybe it's time for me to get back into the market. And not everybody has people to inform them what's going on. I could have told you maybe a few months ago that this was going to happen in June, July, and then you might have listened to me, you may not have, but there's a lot of people out there that don't have any information, and they're just going off of what CP24 tells them. But they're going to start seeing positive numbers now going forward, and that might mean that people are going to start getting back into the market. Okay, let's pull up sales, guys. So we have sales here at 8,082. That is now also up from June of last year. It's up 2.4%, and that's good news because we've been inundated with all this negatives, especially the sales. We always start showing, the news reports start showing that the sales volume is down. It is now up 2.4% from last year. Okay, so that's good news. Moving on, guys, let's take a look at months of inventory. Now, months of inventory is what dictates whether we're in a buyer or seller market. Now, some of these regions are huge, and I say this before, and I'll say it again. York, for example, is a very big region, and there's definitely a lot of different micro markets in there. We have Markham, we have Aurora, we have Newmarket, we have Stouffville, we have Vaughan. All those are within York region, each little market might be a little different than because we're looking at a big geographical area. But regardless, this gives us a bit of indication of what's going on. And let's take a look at Toronto first. So we have months of inventory here of 1.86 months. Technically, that is a seller's market, and especially in certain pockets, 100%. It's really hot. Multiple offers, tough to get in as a buyer. It's kind of how it was maybe a few years ago all over the place. But there's certain pockets in the city where we're still having really, really heated bidding wars as well. Okay, but in other pockets, maybe not so much. Okay, in Durham, guys, we have 2.51 months of inventory, which is technically on the seller side as well. You got to be really careful in Durham as well, though, because we're a little bit outside of the city here. I would say that if you're in a higher priced home, like if your property is $1 million plus or touching $1 million or over $600,000 or over $800,000, those are getting a little tough. If you're the highest price in your particular little market, those might be a little bit tough to move at the moment because people are seeing a lot of inventory of people kind of changing prices, and a lot of people are being picky because there's options, and that's what happens when buyers have options. Sometimes they don't know what to do, and they don't actually make decisions because they need somebody to really guide them to find the thing that they're really looking for. So that might be happening out there. Same thing for Peel region, guys, in York. So Peel, we have it at 2.15 months of inventory, so still technically seller market. And also in York region is the one that always, at least over the last few months, has had definitely higher months of inventory. So we have it at 4.42, and those are the regions I'm talking about. They're a little bit north of us here, Aurora, Newmarket, where properties, over the last few years have been over $1 million, and now they're dropping to like $800,000-$900,000. So there's a lot of inventory out there, guys. Even noticed I had a client that was looking out in Oakville, and I don't know how many. There was like over 100 homes that were $1 million plus on the market, and they were all sitting. They're all kind of similar, so it might be tough for those guys out there to be selling. You got to really think about this, guys. I know the months of inventory, a lot of these are indicating seller markets, but you got to really be specific to your situation. If you guys are thinking about selling, I would say that you should have a really good reason to do so. Maybe get in touch, 647-931-1313 or info@kingrealty.to. Give us your address, and we can get a market evaluation. We'll review the sales in the last 6 months, and we'll give you an idea if should you sell now or should you wait. That's a real question, and the answer is different for different people. Okay, so I hope that information was great, guys, for you guys. This is the months of inventory, average sales, and the average price points across the city and across the GTA, sorry. And in addition to that, we're going to take a look at a few key takeaways, the few key points that I want to kind of express to you guys in this month's video. So one of the things is that it is another fair comparison in June. So I mentioned this earlier. There's 2 months now affected. Last year we were 2 months into the Ontario housing policies. So obviously in those months, May and June of 2017, they're already affected by the housing policies that were really made to bring the market down and to kind of slow things down because we're going to an unsustainable pace. And so now that we're comparing in 2018, May and June, it's more of a fair comparison. We're seeing now the average price point is up 2%. Okay. So including June, guys, we said that average prices have gone up from January of this year to the month of June, and it's up about 9.8%. Okay, so that's actually really good. We're also seeing a turnaround in average price and sales volume. So we're going to have to really see how the public takes and interprets this information. We're going to have to see how the news spins these particular numbers. What I'm thinking is that consumer behavior is going to change as soon as they start seeing these positive numbers. Second half of the year, we had a meeting at our office right now earlier today where we did discuss this particular fact that, you're going to start seeing positive, and in the next half, consumer behavior is going to change, and you're going to see people are going to get back into the market because they're going to say, oh man, things are not going down anymore. They're going to start going up again, and they're going to kind of have a little bit of change in pace and what they want to do. So let's watch out for that in June, July, August, September numbers. Let's see how things goes. That's what we're predicting. So we'll see how that goes. Low rise guys, detached low rise properties, the ones that are higher priced, over $1 million, over 2 million, over 3 million, or higher priced in the little markets that you're in. They may have a little bit more time on the market. It may be a little bit harder to move. Slower recovery for those type of properties, but there is light at the end of the tunnel due to the last point that I made. People are going to start seeing positives in the news, and they're going to get back out in the market and pick up all these properties that are out there right now. Again, though, I mentioned earlier, if you're looking to sell, I think you really need a good reason to do that. If you're just kind of trying it out, may not work for you really. So give us a call, get in touch, and we'll explain. We'll talk specifically to your situation and see if it's a good idea or not. Okay. It's still an opportunity for investors, guys. Still an opportunity for people looking to buy. They were out of the market maybe in the last couple of years. Low-rise properties are a little bit low. So if you're looking to get into a town and semi or a detached home, I think now is the time before things start spinning around, before increases start coming up a little bit more over the next few months. I think it's a good time right now where the inventory is there. There's people selling. There's people making concessions. There's people price changing. There's people dropping prices. This is the time to really go out there and look for these things. I'm confident that if you're buying a property and you're going to stay there for 3, 4, 5 years or more into the future, you will do no harm. You will eventually sell that property at a profit. If you're looking to do some flips, that actually might work out for you in this market as well, because we're thinking that in the next half of this year and into the future, we're going to have positives as well. Okay, so opportunities out there, guys. Get in touch with us and see if we can get you into one of those units. Right now, what's really good is those those homes that have main floor and basement apartments. I'm seeing positive cash flow in all those properties. I talk to people, investors all the time related to those type of properties. And if you're looking to buy and hold into the future, those are really great ones. And there's a lack of rental in the lack of rental supply in the GTA, guys. And there's so many people looking in to get rentals that as an investor, if you have the cash to be able to buy that second or third property, we should really look into it. Get in touch, guys, and we'll see if that's something that's possible for you. We'll get in touch with the mortgage pros to see if you're able to take on a little bit more mortgage. Let's see here. Still a good opportunity. So we talked about that. And let's talk about rents, because this is a good segue. We're talking about, let's see, sorry. So let's talk about rents, because we did mention just now that it's a good opportunity for investors. So what about condos and what about rents? Man, we just got this Urbanation report. This is specifically just rentals in the city, and it really gives you an idea of what's going on. And I want to kind of share some of the stuff that we found. So rents in the condo market are actually soaring. They're up 11% year over year in all of the GTA. The average price point for a 700 square foot condo is $2,300 a month, $2,300 a month. I help people get rentals sometimes. I've done so over the last few years. It happens every once in a while. I normally do focus on purchase and sales, but $2,300 for a 700 square foot, that wasn't happening a year or 2 years ago. I'll tell you this right now, it was not. So if you're an owner of that condo, you're turning over a tenant, someone's leaving, and you're looking for a new person, you're going to have a huge jump in your month rent. Okay, and so that's good news for you. And anybody who's been an investor who owns a property right now, they're experiencing higher rents as well. Now, if you're a tenant looking to get a rental and you're moving from one place to another, that's going to be a tough one. But anyways, it is what it is. You're going to have to work with what's out there, the inventory, and that's really the problem. We have a supply issue, right? And so there's a lack of rentals, and that's why things are shooting up in terms of the rent. In the city of Toronto, it's actually the highest year-over-year increase in rental prices ever. It's the largest. Okay, and so we've had in the city of Toronto, it's now at 3.23 it's $3.23 per square foot. So if you get a 500 square foot condo, you multiply by that number, that's the average price of a rental at this moment. And it actually went up 12%. Okay, in Mississauga, even we had some numbers out there because there was just a little bit of a detail. Even there, it went up 11.9% of average rent. Average rent out there now is $2,100 a month. Can you believe that? If you go out there to Mississauga and you buy a similar size condo and you compare that to what you're paying in the city of Toronto, it's a huge difference in price. But it seems like the rent is actually pretty similar. So if you're out there looking to get a condo and looking for, higher rent, Mississauga might be an option for you. There's going to be more buildings built there. Their city is investing a lot in city center and Square One. Those are opportunities for people, guys. So I really look and I look at the numbers. I take factual information, data that I've actually has happened, and this is factual stuff. I take that information and I really base that on my decision making when I come as an investor, as a buyer, and I think that you should too. I try to provide you guys with as much information as possible so you make the best decisions possible in any transaction, whether it be buying or selling, renting or renting out. I think you really consider the trends and what's going on in the GTA market, and you apply those things to actually be able to have a good outcome for yourself. So guys, that's the video for this month. I'm hoping this information is providing you a lot of useful info so you can take and apply into the situations that you're in. You may not be working with us, but you may be watching our videos, maybe taking in our information, and that's fine. No problem. We provide this stuff for free. But if ever there is a time where you do need to get a second opinion, you want to get a little bit more advice in your particular situation, reach out, guys. It's 647-931-1313. Again, info@kingrealty.to. Information is there below. Subscribe to us in YouTube. So that's youtube.com/realpropertyhelp. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/kingrealtyto. Twitter/kingrealtyto. Instagram.com/kingrealtyto. Connect with us in our different channels, guys. We provide different information on each platform, and so that way you get a bit more information about what's going on in our market. Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much for spending some time with me, and we'll be back next month. Take it easy.